Welcome back. As a developer tries to have a water park built in Manatee County, dozens of people who live near the park are now trying to prevent it from happening. ABC 7's Rick Adams finds out why some people are against a proposed water park.
There is a group of concerned residents who are looking to keep Tom Bennett Park here exactly the way it is. They're hoping their voices are heard loud and clear in opposition to this proposed water park. At least 40 people who live in the Heritage Harbor housing development have joined forces to create the Save Tom Bennett Park group to try and stop a world-class water park and hotel from being built there. Bob Walsh is leading the crusade against the water park. He and his group are concerned about the traffic, fear of the water park going bankrupt, among other issues.
The main concern is it's a partnership between the county and a developer to give them the land, the park land, for free. And then get into some kind of a profit-sharing type agreement with them.
Manatee County officials say commissioners have been flooded with emails regarding this proposed water park, some who are for it, some who are against it.
They have the same concerns. And the proposer, the Lost Lagoon, is going to bear the burden of proof to address all those concerns, not only for the public, but for our commissioners, who ultimately will have the decision.
The Save Tom Bennett Park group recently sent a letter to the county asking them to end the proposed project because they say the developer tried to block access to the plans, which we're being told is not allowed.
We feel that Lost Lagoons has, by their request, attempted to circumvent the process. So we've asked Manatee County to consider ceasing negotiations with them.
2 public meetings will be held in the coming weeks so county officials and the developer, Manatee Lost Lagoon Development, can hear feedback directly from the residents.
I just don't think it's the right place for it. I mean, a water park may be fine. There's other places in the county that are bigger, more acceptable. We did reach out to the developer regarding this story, and they tell us they are not going to comment on this. Reporting from Bradenton, I'm Rick Adams, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Rick, thank you. The Englewood Animal Rescue Sanctuary, or EARS, is a bit more crowded today. The rescue center recently acquired 10 dogs from a hoarding case in Hendry County. Those dogs have all been medically treated, and now many of them need a new home and are ready for adoption. EARS is hosting an adoption event at the Pet Supermarket in Englewood on Saturday. It will be held from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you can, help these dogs find a forever home. The U.S. House passes Congressman Vern Buchanan's bill that will try to reduce heroin and opioid addiction. The number of heroin overdose deaths in Florida increased 900% from 2010 to 2014. That's according to the Florida Medical Examiners Commission. The legislation Buchanan is co-sponsoring includes a number of anti-drug provisions, including establishing grant programs to provide opioid abuse prevention and treatment services. Treatments would include programs for veterans and funding for pregnant mothers and children addicted to opioids. The bill would also create a task force responsible for reviewing federal guidelines for prescribing them. Well, imagine visiting a new library in Venice and at the same time sift through some of the city's most important historical moments. That's the hope of Venice Museum and Archive officials who would like to become part of Sarasota County's plan to build a new library in Venice. ABC 7's Christopher Bradley joins us now live from the museum with more tonight. Christopher?
Well, good evening, Scott. All around me are some of the most pivotal moments in Venice's history, from its first doctor to a woolly mammoth. It's not exactly the same as Night at the Museum, but it's just right for the city of Venice. Built in 1926, this former boarding house now serves as the place of residence for the living history of Venice.
It was 96 opened up as a museum and archives, with archives on the second level, museum on the first level.
Here is where you learn of the first doctor to move a practice into Venice, or of John Nolan, the man credited with designing the city. But this place does have its downsides.
We had to move half of the archives off-site into a temporary storage facility.
With so much weight on the second floor's archive room, the floors began to buckle. And now the museum's director, James Hagler, would like to move the whole project to the to-be-built library.
It's a cultural heritage center that will allow you to not only be able to go to the library, do your research, but then also be able to go back into your past.
And in the future, it might happen.
At the staff level, we've had several discussions. We're ratcheting up those quite a bit based upon some of the recent direction from council and from county commission.
Len Bramble is Venice's assistant city manager. He said the biggest hangup is timing. The county wants to build the library fast.
Can we merge into their fast lane? Is it even possible?
And as most things do, it all comes down to money.
We have $1 million in endowment, another almost $1 million.
And if they're successful, the Museum and Archive Historical Resources Department would like to turn this building into what it was meant to be, a coffee and tea shop. It, too, may soon become a museum piece. Scott?
And Christopher, you mentioned a woolly mammoth was found there in Venice. Tell us more about that.
Yes, you wouldn't really think Venice and woolly mammoth, but alas, one was found in 1926 when workers were digging a drainage ditch. Guess you learn something new every day, Scott.
Absolutely. All right, Christopher, thank you so much. Manatee County is making recycling easier for families. The county is replacing the old dual recycling bins with new 64-gallon single-stream containers. More than 116,000 families will receive these new carts through September. The types of items that can be recycled will not change, and people can continue to recycle newspaper, glass bottles, cardboard, milk cartons, and more. But now you don't have to sort them. Just put everything in that big blue bin. Makes it easy. This weekend, volunteers will be cleaning up Suncoast beaches and parks. Volunteers will be at Coquina Beach tomorrow afternoon, picking up any trash and debris left over from the 4th of July weekend. The Midsummer Cleanup is in partnership with the Tampa Bay Watch Group, Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful and Manatee County Parks. Volunteers will meet at Coquina tomorrow from 9 a.m. until noon. Volunteers will also be cleaning up near the Sunshine Skyway and at Fort DeSoto Park. And some weather today. It was hot and then some rain cooled it off for parts of the area. John is in for Bob.
Yeah, really hot today. Check it out. The high temperature, 96 degrees was our high temperature today, 6 degrees above the average. That's about 3 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. I guess we hit 93 yesterday. So that little extra heat is all it took to really fire off the storms, and boy did we get good ones too. Big storms around Lakewood Ranch. Some of the outflow of that brought some rapid cooling to parts of the Suncoast from about Onika south to about Bee Ridge Road. Kind of a little stream of cooler air filtered out toward Gulf waters and cooled things off dramatically. Went from 95 degrees to 78 degrees in just 2 hours with the outflow from that storm. It has dissipated. We're now looking at the bigger storms east of the interstate over by Arcadia and Wauchula. Temperatures across the region, well, look at the result of that outflow from that storm. 79 degrees in Sarasota, 90 Lakewood Ranch, 84 Mayaca City, 91 in Northport, 89 in Venice where that cooler air never reached, 85 degrees in Arcadia and 84 in Wauchula. But the heat indexes across the state still very warm. And this is what we'll be dealing with as we head into the weekend. It's 104, feels like, in Tampa, Gainesville at 102, Melbourne at 103. We will see some relief from the heat next week in the form of more frequent showers and thunderstorms, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Congresswoman Corinne Brown of Florida is indicted following a federal investigation. The North Florida Democrat indicted by a federal grand jury on multiple fraud, theft of government funds, conspiracy, and other charges. The indictment comes after an investigation into the charity One Door for Education Foundation, which Brown has ties to. Federal prosecutors say the charity was supposed to give scholarships to poor students, but instead filled the coffers of Brown and her associates. The president of One Door pleaded guilty earlier this year for depositing $800,000 into the foundation's account over 4 years, but the foundation only gave out one $1,000 scholarship. A team of investigators will go to Florida next week to look into the fatal crash of a Tesla sedan while the vehicle's autopilot self-driving mode was in use. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating the May 7th crash near Gainesville. They're trying to determine if the Tesla's autopilot system is defective. The agency says a truck made a left turn in front of the car, but neither the autopilot nor the driver applied the brakes, and the driver was killed. Investigators plan to examine the wreckage of the Tesla Model S. Tonight is a big drawing. The Mega Millions jackpot has now reached an estimated $540 million. It has a cash value of $380 million. Tuesday night was the 34th consecutive drawing without a winner. That makes the current jackpot the 7th biggest of all time, including Powerball prizes. The biggest lottery jackpot in U.S. history, the $1.6 billion Powerball jackpot, that was just in January. We asked a few people here on the Suncoast what they would do with all that dough.
If I won the lottery, it would pay off all our bills, pay off all my son's bills, and take care of the rest of my family.
I got a baby on the way. I'd spend lots of money on it and put the rest in savings.
I'd buy a newer van that has AC in it, and I'd pay off our house.
And of course, you can watch the Mega Millions drawing live right here on ABC7 at 11 o'clock. Good luck to all of you out there who bought a ticket. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a belt designed to help children with autism. A boy explains how the device has helped him stay more focused and calm. The story next.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Staying hydrated is key to beating this oppressive heat. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. Dr. Jenny is here to talk about how to make the water you drink work better for your body. One way to beat the heat is in the air conditioning at the family-friendly Summer Circus Spectacular at the Ringling. We'll have a preview, plus the latest trends in engagement rings. And Gold Rush Barbecue joins us in the kitchen.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Discover the biggest savings of the year on some of America's favorite vehicles during the Drive and Discover event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Get America's best value, a new Grand Caravan for just $18,999 or a new Dodge Journey for just $16,999. Stop by today to shop the area's biggest selection of Ram trucks and save up to $8,000 on your new Ram. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
If you have a suspicion for harboring prostate cancer, we have a way of diagnosing by using an exquisite instrument called three-dimensional color flow power Doppler ultrasound. Using this system, we can identify abnormalities within the prostate that you could otherwise never detect. The Dottoli Cancer Center is the only center in the southeastern United States which has this technology. If you have prostate cancer, we will find it.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beauty Rest, Eye Comfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
A former baseball player turns a career-ending injury into creating a tool to help kids with autism spectrum and other disorders. ABC 7's Alex Redmond joins us now with how the Miracle Belt works. Alex?
That's right, Scott. A belt is something that many of us wear every day, but a sensory belt is more than a fashion statement. It's making a difference in the lives of kids.
Then you can turn this around.
9-year-old Cody Hedge explains how he uses the Miracle Belt.
Where the star is has to match up where your belly button is.
Which makes him feel
calm, relaxed, tired.
The sensory belt helps with his body focusing on being calm, being able to manage overwhelming situations like the store.
Cody's mom, Megan McMullen, says her son has autism spectrum disorder with sensory processing disorder and anxiety. Former pro baseball player Matt Bruback sustained an injury while playing for the Chicago Cubs.
The sensory issue that I had was I was disassociated with my upper and lower body, so I was having a hard time feeling my balance point.
Bruback says he ended his career when he realized the device he originally created for himself helped kids with special needs.
The belts work by improving proprioceptive feedback, biofeedback, which is very, very simple. It helps to stimulate, through the weight in the belt, stimulate the nerves, tendons, and muscle fibers, which helps to improve body awareness. It's very durable and flexible, and it even has a warning label here, so every belt is child safe under government guidelines.
Results of an independent study of kids with ADHD find while wearing the belt, 8 out of 10 participants were rated with significantly fewer symptoms. Occupational therapist Danielle Schwar of Oak Park works with a range of people.
From 3 years old to 21 years old that have anything from autism spectrum disorder to cerebral palsy to attention deficit disorders and anything in between.
This year, says Schwar, is her first experience of the belt.
And I have seen children who had difficulty with impulsivity and with attention go from not being able to sit in a chair and look at something for 5 seconds to sit and participate in activity for 15 minutes without getting up at all.
When I have the belt on, it makes me focused.
If you'd like more information on the Miracle Belt, you can visit mysuncoast.com for a link. We'll have it up there for you.
So you spent some time with Cody today. Did you notice some difference between him wearing the belt and not wearing it?
Yeah, I mean, I did notice a difference from when he first started to put it on. I mean, when I was first there and talking to him, he was very distracted, and he does suffer from a lot of different things. And it was almost like he took a sigh and was able to actually focus on the conversation at hand and the task at hand, which is, it's really interesting. But they're using biofeedback, which is something that they're also using for people with PTSD right now. We have Dr. George Rozelle in the area. So they're using technology that's actually being applied and working.
Yeah, it's neat that it is. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Let's get over to John for another check on our hot weather outside. John?
That is a miracle, isn't it? Great stuff. Warm. Don't know how else to say it, except in certain areas where it has cooled off just a little bit thanks to the outflow from some thunderstorm activity earlier on, especially the one around Lakewood Ranch, though we have some other storms now that are pretty large as well. 79 degrees, the current air temperature at the airport with a dew point of 70. Calm winds, though the winds have been basically out of the west all afternoon long, pushing those thunderstorms inland. 91 in Venice, 79 Sarasota, 89 Lakewood Ranch, 90 degrees in Bradenton, 86 degrees Longboat Key, 89 degrees in Mayaca. Big storms are now inland. But if you look at the distribution across the peninsula, you'll notice that it's just not typical summertime stuff. Normally, you'd have a line stretching all the way down the center part of the state. And right now, you know, we've got a line down to the south of us. We have a line over us, and we have an isolated pulse cell up to the north of us around Ocala. But other than that, things are very quiet across the area. Our big storm in Lakewood Ranch has died. Now the ones near Wauchula and Arcadia are the ones worth watching. We got some good rainfall amounts here, though, with that particular storm. But these two cells, in particular this one now, which is in the growth stage near Wauchula, is producing multiple lightning strikes, a lot of lightning strikes, some heavy rainfall, some pea-sized hail. I mean, it's a good, healthy, strong storm, probably getting up there about 20, 30,000 feet. So a decent storm. As I mentioned, we got some pretty good rainfall totals in places. In fact, in places where the storms just grew and died in the same location, 3-4 inch rainfalls in interior parts of Charlotte County. The one over Lakewood Ranch producing 2.5, maybe some larger amounts in certain areas. These are Doppler radar estimates. Other places that didn't see those thunderstorms, nothing at all, or rain, drizzle measured in the tenths of an inch. I think that will change. I think the distribution will become greater as we head into next week because the high pressure ridge, which has been centered over us, bringing us very light winds and very warm temperatures, is going to migrate out into the Atlantic and move a little bit further to the north. That'll put us on the underbelly of the high and give us a more typical summertime kind of flow pattern out of the southeast. That southeast wind flow tends to collide with our sea breezes, our local sea breezes, in the afternoon, setting off showers and thunderstorms east of the interstate. Then as those sea breezes collapse as the sun sets, that general easterly flow or southeasterly flow pushes the storms back to the coast. Everybody gets in on the action. That'll probably occur next week. Until then, we'll get the same sort of situation we've had for the last several days, and we'll have again tomorrow and probably on Sunday as well. A few strong, slow-moving storms, mostly inland. Mostly dry near the coast, except for perhaps a few morning showers. And then we'll watch for those better rain chances for everybody occurring by next week. RPM computer model shows a few scattered showers near the coast during the morning hours after a fairly quiet overnight. And then those showers move inland in the afternoon. Everything dies out and we're left with a tranquil overnight. Same pattern we've seen over the last several days. Rainfall distribution, again, mostly inland, mostly quiet near the coast. So it'll be nice boating weather this weekend, I think. Northwest wind shifting to the west in the afternoon at about 10 knots will bring you a light chop. And the forecast calls for about twice the rain chance next work week. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. Right now we're monitoring 2 crashes in South Sarasota, both along Tamiami Trail. There's one at US 41 and Beneva Road, and there was a crash earlier at 41 and McIntosh Road. Both crashes tying up traffic in the southbound lanes of US 41. Well, a big relief on the job market may be back on track now. Employers shook off 2 months of weak hiring and added 287,000 jobs in June. That high number suggests the U.S. economy is recovering from a weak winter and spring. The unemployment rate rose to 4.9% from 4.7% as more Americans began looking for jobs. Today's report also suggests the U.S. economy was improving before the United Kingdom startled the world last month by voting to leave the European Union. But this jobs news boosted the stock markets today. All of them were up. Wendy's says more than 1,000 restaurants across the country had customer payment information hacked. The company discovered the hack in February. Customers' cardholder names, credit and debit card numbers, and expiration dates all jeopardized. The company says it doesn't know how many customers are affected here. Wendy's is offering to provide credit monitoring services and other protections to customers for up to 1 year. Stay with us. Entertainment news is right after this.
I'm Ray Collins. Prepping for the Zika virus, the Suncoast hasn't had problems yet. Find out what you can do to help keep it that way.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today.
Looks like we're getting another new neighbor.
Now you could be the millionaire next door. Play Monopoly Florida Edition scratch-off games with a top prize of $5 million. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, it's all about getting more for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. Stop by to see our new state-of-the-art showroom today, and you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet, a new 2016 Subaru Forester, for just $229 a month. Complimentary maintenance included at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Louis C.K., Eric Stone Street, Kevin Hart, Jenny Slate, and Albert Brooks are all together on the big screen as talking animals. From Illumination Entertainment, known for the Minions, comes The Secret Life of Pets. Here's ABC7 media critic Daniel Feingold's review.
What's up, guys?
Any plans today?
I got big plans. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna wait for Katie to come back. Oh, I miss her so much.
Okay, so animals are talking. Either will soon no longer be the dominant species on Earth, or The Secret Life of Pets is now in theaters. The story follows Louis C.K.'s Max, who's such a good boy and perfectly content with the relationship he has with his human. But then his human goes and gets another dog from the shelter. Duke, Eric Stone Street, is much bigger and fluffier, and he's totally cramping Max's style. Max's efforts to get rid of Duke lands both dogs in possession of animal control, and eventually miles away from home. From there, the duo travel every which way through and under New York, along the way meeting an underground gang of animals with street cred, or so they like to think.
Uh-oh. Just ignore what just happened.
The bunny is Kevin Hart, if you couldn't tell, and while Max and Duke search for home, their friends from back home search for them.
Nobody can help you. Where is Max?
The voice work here is pretty fantastic, especially from Albert Brooks as a red-tailed hawk who must set aside his urges to eat everyone to help find the missing canines. And especially Kevin Hart, who is firmly committed to his tough guy bunny rabbit character. Make a special Academy Award for this man.
Pets. Yeah, you got the stench of domestication all over you.
This is ultimately a cartoon about animals that talk, so I really don't know what to tell you. Of course I'm going to recommend it. My only issue is that given what the movie is about on its most basic level, what animals do when we're not around, the ideas for a storyline and the ways to carry it seem boundless. Yet The Secret Life of Pets opts for an obvious cookie-cutter plot. It's no Homeward Bound, but Secret Life of Pets is still good fun, and a great advertisement for shelter adoptions. Just remember to have your pet spayed or neutered. For ABC7, I'm Daniel Feingold, critically inclined.
Daniel, thank you. Dogs barking at squirrels, that happens a lot. Families with autistic and special needs children can watch The Secret Life of Pets at a special showing at Carmike Royal Palm 20 Theater in Bradenton. The theater is offering another sensory-sensitive movie. The volume will be lower and the lights will be half on, and moving around is okay. The movie will start at 10:45 tomorrow morning. And if the pet movie isn't for you, there's another new movie at the box office. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Zac Efron and Adam Devine play a pair of party guys who more than meet their matches in Anna Kendrick and Aubrey Plaza. Box office watchers figure the raunchy rom-com to debut around $15 million this weekend. And we'll be right back with more news and weather. Stay with us.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by the Florida Lottery.